The glow of 10 birthday candles warmed my face. I didn't rush to blow them out, as I wanted to savor this moment. Birthday cake is one of the few things left in our house that is not projected on a screen or as a hologram, and my birthday candles are one of the last things we are allowed to burn in a household. As I blew them out and watched the smoke rise up to the ceiling, I felt anxious that someone from the environmental office may knock on the door and be upset with us. Mom passed me one of the gifts on the table. I knew that it was a biometric device and it was free. This is what every 10-year-old gets because this was the year to have one's profile uploaded to the federal health system. After unwrapping the gifts, Mom and Dad said that they had a real surprise for me. I followed Mom and Dad out of the condo and onto the elevator. The walls of the elevator lit up with ads for things we had been searching for online recently. Every flat surface in our building was a screen, either telling you what to buy or how to stay healthy and when going outside. Mom and Dad said none of this was here when I was born. I tried to imagine how plain the lobby would look with paint. A lot had changed since the switchover in 2039. Dad always said that the computers were brought in because people had lost the ability to find the truth. So the government had put Central Intelligence in charge of the information so the truth was never lost again. The train had pulled up quickly and quietly, as it typically did. The hum of the magnets and the soft tug on my hand from Mom reminded me it was time to board. The smog had settled into the city center. The sun and the mountains were not visible. I like windy days when the sky's blue and I can see the whole mountain valley. As the doors closed, the train interior lit up with air quality warnings. I felt anxious again. Dad was explaining to Mom that the smog rolled in from the mines overnight. They must be smelting more minerals for battery and semiconductors again. As the train sped up, the skyscrapers became a blur of green and black, as the plants and the solar panels lining them blended together. I looked down at my biometric device. I've been part of the FHS for 2 hours. My heart rate, blood pressure, predisposal illnesses, and benefit plans number were all visible on my device. A blinking green light in the top left corner let me know I was connected and healthy. When we arrived at our stop, the air quality index on the train read acceptable as we exited at the high altitude station. I loved being outside. Mom and Dad had planned a birthday hike for me. We set off from the station and through a small historic village, kept intact by generational families who had never abandoned their land. The air was fresh and the sun was shining as we walked above the cloud line. I couldn't wait to get away from the technological world and see the trees, streams, and escarpments. During the hike, Mom and Dad reminisced about what it was like in their 20s. Nature still thriving with a full 4 seasons, but also to the failure of people to protect what they had. It only came to fruition with the switchover and the end of the misinformation age. As we hiked, the path narrowed, and as it came to an opening in the forest, there was a steep cliff. Without warning, the ground gave way, and I quickly lost sight of Dad as he disappeared over the edge. About 20 feet down, I saw him laying unconscious, and the device on his wrist was blinking red. After several minutes of yelling to wake him, I could hear the sound of helicopter blades cutting through the air. Dad's device had connected to the health system for emergency help. I took a deep breath, and Mom and I shared a sigh of relief. We knew that if Dad had been injured too badly, the device would not have activated the health system. We were even more relieved when we got to the hospital. As we walked through the doors, a green light illuminated around us, followed by a quiet announcement. Treatment not required. We followed some medics down the hall to Dad's room. The only emergency doctor on shift said Dad had a slight concussion and a sprained ankle, which would be dealt with in a matter of hours by the regenerative medical equipment. Other patients were not so lucky. I had learned in school that the machines made the decisions now, based on someone's profile, habits, and health. Vices were not tolerated and were considered a drain of resources. As a result, these people were treated differently. They had to wait, and their level of care prescribed was poor. I looked across the ER. In each room was a patient tended to by robotic equipment. It was an eerie silence, and the machines worked quietly. Mom said the FHS had not always been like this. In the last 10 years, that society had shifted to a collective model of care. It's like a web. We are all interconnected somehow. We are stronger together. Our resources are stronger when combined. I am unsure what she meant because it didn't seem like we were all together as one. I was distracted by the green light blinking slowly on my device. The waiting area was painted white and sterile from the LED lighting. recorded announcements played with a disembodied voice. Stay healthy, upload your profile today. And the federal health system is here for you. Upload your profile today. Although I knew Dad would be fine, I thought about my comfortable life at home. Our family is very close. Mom and Dad work from home, and I have 2 days of virtual classes a week. This was so people wouldn't need to drive as much anymore. We always go for walks in the city. Mom and Dad always talk about how tall and close together the new buildings were. As technology and immigration expanded and the concern for the environment grew, politicians put a stop to land development. They tried to keep as much nature as possible. Without the ability to build new houses, people had to work upwards, creating a cityscape of symmetrical canyons. A few hours later, Dad walked through the emergency room doors, not looking anywhere for wear, aside from some grass stains on his shirt. Dad swiped his device against a sensor at the door. A small screen on the wall read, "No charge, FHS member." Dad said, "That's why we pay 40% tax." On the way home in a taxi, I saw the city train roll by, packed as usual. I noticed the homes that all looked the same were run down. These residents couldn't sign up for FHS because they had some type of condition. The FHS prioritized maintaining the healthy people, and those with addictions and illnesses used the old system. Apparently, the misinformation still found a home with these people. They were indifferent to authority and the new collective. They actively tried to undermine it. Back at the condo, we all sat at the kitchen table. Mom reached for one of my birthday gifts. It was my favorite one. She carefully opened the antique cover and began to read. The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way towards the lagoon.